Man, oh man, I'm really interested to see how this one is going to lay out because we have an entity, a publication known for saying a lot of bad stuff, some of it untrue about Stadia, has now done a 180. See as WOAH, Forbes calls Stadia the best next-gen experience. What? Let's get into it.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of what we're retitling for the moment, the SDO Daily. You can see the new hashtag on the title on YouTube, SDO Daily, as part of the whole Stadia Dosage package on Stadia Dosage News, of course. With that said, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when your boy's dropping these doses. I appreciate all of y'all straight up. Y'all know the deal, y'all know the reason, and y'all know the slogan. I'm not too proud to ask. Let's get into it. All right, so those of you familiar with Forbes, particularly Paul Tassi, may already have been introduced to a lot of negative rhetoric towards Stadia, a lot of it untrue, a lot of it we covered here, and we've talked about it. It isn't the opinion of Paul Tassi that bothered us. It was the attempt to take false notions in order to extenuate those false notions with bad information. You can't just give your opinion and let your opinion alone sway people, so you got to put false, unlooked into, unresearched information in there as well to help extenuate your point, and that is a problem. That being said, we here at the Stadia Dosage News, you know, we've been fighting hard and vigorously to combat that. And it has had some positive outcomes in regards. The other day we saw Windows Central owned Jazz Gordon drop a fact-based article contrasting Stadia versus what Game Pass is looking to do. Now again, do I solely buy into his opinion? No. But even though his opinion is opposite of mine, what can I say? The article is based upon nothing but fact about what Stadia is about, who Stadia is trying to attract, his capabilities. It's a great article to read. And I, for one, I love listening and reading stuff that is opposite of my opinion. One of my favorite podcasts that I listen to right now is a podcast called Rebel FM. It's by a pair of individuals that used to work for my favorite magazine, gaming magazine of all time. The magazine is called GMR, okay? And GMR was, I think, the best gaming magazine ever. These guys are part of that ilk that later became, I believe, the 7-Up publication on the web and so forth, and now they're doing different things, but they have a lot of deep-rooted access in the community. Now, the reason why I brought them up and they're my favorite podcast is because there's a lot of nerdistry and a lot of knowledge that's being shared there. And those guys cannot stand Stadia, though. I'm going to be honest, they don't have any hopes, any beliefs in Stadia. They're rooted in dedicated devices, and that's fine. However, even in their disbelief of Stadia's future, they still drop knowledge, and they don't let their biases curtail that knowledge. For instance, one episode, they said, why is everybody laughing at the predictive control scheme that Stadia said that they're doing with their Stadia controller? You're already seeing it in implementation with games like Call of Duty. Like when you go around the corner, have you ever noticed that you've died before the person actually fired the shot? Well, that's because the algorithm said, hey, look, you were going to die anyway. The person was aimed right at you. They fired the gun right at your head. You were dead anyway. It's just happened that it happened before you saw it visually on the screen. And they said that Stadia has a better model of that predictive controlling, so you'll never see those faux pas. So that's the type of journalism that we can all appreciate. Whether you like Stadia or not, your commentary is based on factual stuff. And this article by Forbes is so much about that. Let me show you something. It is an article written by our new friend, Erik Kain. It says, the best next-gen video game console isn't the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. Saying it's Stadia. And here's why he says that. I have to admit, I didn't really expect to be saying this, but Google Stadia is the most next-gen console on the market. When I first reviewed Google Stadia, it was a mixed bag at best. Now, as I survey my lineup of expensive storage, confined, next-gen, okay, current-gen now, systems, I can't help but see it. Stadia is by far the most next-gen of the bunch. It was a surprisingly great experience with Cyberpunk 2077 that compounded this realization, though I'd been dabbling more and more with Stadia before that, including a remarkably good-looking, well-performing Destiny 2 foray. As I've noticed, Stadia is quite possibly the best place to play Cyberpunk 2077, even if it's not as rich an experience as a high-end gaming PC. The game still actually runs the best and looks nearly as good on Stadia. It leaps and bounds better than PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, where at least a last-gen version of the game is running on new hardware. Oh my, my George Takei voice. All right, so here's the thing about that. The thing that stuck out the most to me is that last paragraph, as I noticed Stadia is quite possibly the best place to play Cyberpunk 2077. It's leaps and bounds better than PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. What does that do, folks? That contradicts Digital Foundry's claims, even though we know that they were siphoning internet on the side of a fat burger during a windy day on the outside. And it compounds what we've heard elsewhere and what people have told me about the Cyberpunk 2077 experience. And we've already got that in our hands. So what Digital Foundry had to say really was less relevant, opposed to really gauging into Digital Foundry's world and seeing if they got better at this, which they clearly have not got better at gauging cloud gaming in a significant way. It was more a referendum on them than it was a referendum on how Cyberpunk plays on Stadia. And it didn't cut mustard. And this is more in lines with what we've heard. But nonetheless, I think the biggest takeaway from this is that what it really shows at the end of the day is that, and I urge you all to read this article because there's some sentiments in there about GF and some other things that I particularly don't agree with, as he's given his pros and cons. But there's nothing to fact check here. Everything is factually based. And what it shows to prove is two major things. First and foremost, I hope you guys and gals are ready for what is the true ugliness of the big stage. Because when you have publications like Forbes, who all prior publications and articles were very negative about Stadia, whether they were fact-based or not. When you do a 180 like this, that is going to make ripples in the news gaming world. Also, what it shows to prove is something that I've been harking on recently, because I know there's a lot of sentiment in the Stadia community that this type of pushback that we get from certain elements isn't good. It just doesn't look right. It's not tactful. This is counterclaim to that. I know firsthand from talking to people deep within the gaming media or with access to those deep within the gaming media that the pushback that we've been providing solely on facts, not just on, say something nice about Stadia, but on facts, is at the root of this. People have been hesitant to just get on the mic and just say stuff that they didn't understand. So the gaming media took a month or two out, or a few weeks, particularly around when a lot of people got Stadia in their hands because of the YouTube Premiere editions being given to people. They took the time to actually investigate what Stadia was about instead of just writing about something they didn't know about. And because they finally did their due diligence, we are now getting articles like that. And what forced them to do their due diligence, the reluctancy that they had of just writing an article that was baseless, but just full of innuendo, trying to make it seem like it was full of fact, and knowing that at the tail end, it's such a poor job, they were going to get a lot of pushback from the Stadia community who was fact-based. Not necessarily opinion-based, but fact-based. This is a testament that what we have been doing is effective, and it's been positive for Stadia on the long run. Now again, when I say that, I don't mean that when Stadia does wrong or they taking the wrong path that we just give them a slot. No, what we want is everything else that the other platforms have been rewarded. Fact-based journalism, deep-rooted in due diligence. That's all we ask. And some of the reporting in the past has been abhorrent. But again, as we see articles like this, we're seeing that journalists are now, at least them, that sector is at least giving more and more respect to Stadia, to where, again, their notions may not be full of roses and candy canes and unicorns, but they're doing their due diligence. They're basing their opinions on facts, and they're relaying this fact-based information to you, the most important person of all, as far as this platform is concerned, the unsuspecting gamer. I can't ask for anything more. I feel like an adult watching this child go to college. I'm about to burst out in tears. But that's it from your boy MFGK. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, because like I say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. Those links will lead you to the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and yes, the Stadia Dosage. Also, if you want more great, fantastic content from Stadia Dosage News, hit that join button below. We got a lot of great content behind the scenes for our member community. And with that said, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.